Hello everyone and welcome, it's Shanna. Now today we're going to make a see-through 5x7 card for a golden birthday. So I have got the classic mouse etched alphabet is what I've got here, and I've got the garden planner etched dies. And we're going to use the floral pieces out of this, just the florals. And then I have got classy numbers. This is no longer available. I looked on the site. It's not available, but it's a favorite of mine, and I'm going to bring it in and use it. I've got a 5x7 piece of acetate, and I have got a 7x10 inch cardstock here. You see I've got all of my pieces die cut out and ready to go. We're going to bring in the scoreboard, get this thing scored, and I'm just going to have myself a 5x7 card. Because of the letters and the size of them, I needed to go with a 5x7 card. I contemplated a couple of different things, but I decided to go with a see-through card. I recently saw a video from Yana Smakula in which she did one differently than this, but it gave me the idea to do it, and so that's what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut off 1.5 inches off of this card base front, and I'm just going to take 1.5 inches off, and then I want 2 inches for my see-through. So I'm going to flip this around and cut 2 inches off of it, and then I'll have 1.5 inches at the top. So I've got 1.5 inches flap and then 1.5 inches strip, and then I'm going to bring in my 5x7, and this is heavy acetate, and I'm going to bring in some score tape, and I'm going to get it taped up, and we'll get this taped down. Now I wanted this card to be super clean, and so with the acetate I'm not going to use any glue. I'm not risking any glue on there. So we'll be using tape runner and double-sided tape for this. And I'm just going to put a couple strips on here, and we'll get it laid down on there, and then we can just lay our acetate in place, and we'll be able to fold down over it, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to pull the release papers off on this, and then we're going to position the acetate, get it where I want it, and then fold it down, and then just give it a good press. And now we have got a see-through card. Now I want the bottom to be filled in because I had in my head that golden was going to go on top, birthday was going to go on bottom, and then 29th was going to go on the inside. So I'm just checking my paper, want to get the right side up, and then we're just going to rinse and repeat here. So I'm getting the double-sided tape laid down on there, trying to line it up nice and neat, and then just tear. This is tear tape, so you can definitely tear it. And so just giving it a good press. And for this, I'm just going to get it started and flip this one up and then flip this one down. And that way I can get it lined up just right on the edge before it starts sticking. And I'm going to use my magnets to hold it in place. And then I'm going to take my time and really get that lined up nice and neat. And then give it a press. And then I'm going to pull these off. And before I press down, I'm getting lined up on the other side and just giving it a good press. And there we go. We have got a see-through card. And I think it's really fun, super fun. And this is going to work out. The scale is going to be just perfect for the golden birthday that I'm going to get laid down on there. So I'm going to speed this up because I'm just placing and gluing. And it took a good long time to get everything lined up the way I wanted it, and then to get it glued down. Now, I thought about maybe raising and lowering them so that they look a little wonky, and then I decided against that, so you saw me moving back. And so here I'm just moving things around and getting them lined up, making sure everything's going to fit on there, and kind of get an idea of, you know, how it'll all lay down on there. So I'm just carefully gluing up each of these letters and trying to use just, you know, as little glue as needed so that I don't have a mess. I'm trying to keep this card super clean. This is a card that somebody has asked me to make, so I am trying to make it very, you know, it's not one that I'm giving, you know, that I'm willing to have a boo-boo on or whatever. I'm trying to really keep this super clean. And so I was real careful with the acetate, and I'm trying to be real careful with the glue here. And I was really tickled how this turned out. So now I'm going to put the 29th on the inside of it. and we'll get it positioned. And I'll have to keep closing and opening the flap so that I can just position, and you can see it's too high. And so I'll move it. I'm going to try and center it a little bit, still too high. Just going to keep moving it until I get it as low as I want it. And I'm not moving it enough, and eventually I'll get it positioned where I want it. So we'll just push it down a little bit more. Just taking my time trying to get it exactly how I want it. I'm thinking it's close. Now here I'm like, line it up with your glass board, and then that way you know it's straight, and then figure out what you want to do with it. So I'm going to use the magnets to hold it in place, and then I'm just going to carefully lift and then glue down and get it in there. And I had it a little bit crooked when I was looking at it. Now I've straightened it up so it looks better. And we're just going to have our 29th on the inside of this. So the backstory on this card is my daughter is turning 29 on the 29th. And her husband, he really dotes on her. He usually gets her very special things. He buys her flowers all the time. Just anyway. So for this birthday, he ordered some jewelry. And he has a private jeweler and has things made. And the jewelry's not going to be ready in time for the birthday. And then this morning, he gets a message on the special order card that he had that it's not going to arrive in time. So he said, I know it's last minute, but is there any way you can put something together? And I'm like, sure. And I actually, once I got in my head what I wanted to do, I was very excited to make this card and to bring it to the channel because I just think it's super fun. Like I said, I had seen Yana do a see-through card the other day and hadn't had a chance to get around to playing with it myself. And so anyway, I thought it was a super fun idea, and I really enjoyed how it came together. So I did text him later and said, the card's done and I really love it. And he was like, oh, thank you so much. So he's kind of striking out on the birthday preparations for this year for her. So I feel bad for him because he always really does really knock it out of the ballpark for her. Anyway, so I'm getting all these gold bits laid down here. These are the flowers from the garden basket, or whatever, what was that called? The garden planner. These are just the flowers from that. And that's why I brought that die set in, was I just wanted some simple flowers that I could embellish kind of this, because I knew it would be, we're going to have a wide area of openness. And so I wanted to have something to embellish. Now I need to get the little bitty circles laid down on these tiny little flowers here. And I just use the craft tape to keep track of them. I do that when I have teeny tiny bits so that I don't lose them. And we're going to get those laid down on there. So what I'm going to do is I've got 2 of each size of the flowers. And I'm going to lay 1 of each size on the front of it and get it positioned how I want it. And then we'll use the other ones to go on the inside of it so that you won't be looking at the sticky tape that I use to put these florals down with. And you'll have flowers on the inside of the card as well. So I'm going to speed this up because I'm going to put some sticky tape on all of these and get them laid down. So I'm just using that same double-sided tape that I used to put the acetate down, and I'm using real teeny tiny pieces and just giving it a press. Now when I brought my scissors in, there were some gold die-cut hairs on the letters, and I couldn't get them to brush off, so I just trimmed it off. I'll do that a couple times when I see little hairs on there, but I'm just going to get all these flowers taped up and get them laid down on there. And then we're going to open the card and we're going to do the same with the flowers, and we're going to line them up on the inside. And then you won't see that sticky tape and you'll see flowers on the inside. So I think it'll be a nice finish. And this was a suggestion that Yana had on her channel. So if you want to cover it up. And I will also cover up the backs of the acetate where I put the sticky on there. So I'm going to line these up carefully, try and get them to where they're lined up. Now this one I'll get wrong, but I fix after the fact. I'll get it lined up exactly right. I could see a little edge on there and it was really bothering me. And once I turned off the camera, I'm like, I've got it. I needed to turn it. So I lifted it off and then turned it. Next, I'm going to take that strip, that 2-inch strip that I cut from the middle, and I'm going to bring in my trimmer and I'm going to cut it down to 1.5. I think it needs to be just a little shy of 1.5. And then we'll get it laid down on the top of our card. And I'm going to just do the same thing. I'm going to bring in some sticky tape and we'll tape it up. I'm just avoiding the glue. And for this, I use the tape runner. It was handy, and I thought I'll just lay some tape runner on there and we'll get it lined up. So I'm going to get it lined up and get it laid down on there. And then I made my own 5x7 card base. And so when you do that, you've got to cut off, because you cut it down to 7x10. So you have that strip that you cut off. And so I just grabbed it, and it's 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to grab another trimmer because I need 7 inches, and that's only a 6-inch trimmer. So I've just got my little Cricut trimmer, and I just trimmed it down to 7 inches. I've got a great big guillotine, but I didn't want to drag it out. So again, just using that tape runner, getting it laid down on there, and we're just going to cover it up, and just it looks nice and finished. I need to start pulling my hair back because it keeps making random appearances in the video. So I've got a little bit of acetate on there. I'm going to go off camera and cut it off. And then that just cleans the edge off really nice. And it looks really pretty. And then I thought, I need some sparkle. I need some more. And so I went looking for some embellishments. And I couldn't really just find any gold sequins. I had a ton at one point, but I didn't have any. So I found a mix that had some gold in it, and they're just the sequin type with the holes in the center. And I'm just digging out each of the gold ones and just placing them in there. And then I'll just lay them down, close the flap, and try to see, are they where I want them to be? And I'll just keep doing that until I get them all positioned how I want them. And like I said, I'm just digging. This is a Love from Lizzie mix, and it's got blue, brown, and gold in it. And I'm just pulling out the gold ones and just positioning them how I want them. And we're just going to have them kind of showing through. And what I'm trying to do is avoid the florals and get them positioned to where you can see them and they're not, in the way of the florals. So that's what I'm doing here. And so we're just going to bring in the glue and get them laid down. I needed to grab my magnet, and actually two of them were stuck together, so I had to pause there and get the magnet laid down on there so that I could hold the card still and just kind of lift and place. And I'm just trying to keep like my wax tool and my glue right there together so that I can keep it in the exact same spot and not kind of lose my place of where I wanted it, because I want them to show just where I want them. So just putting the slightest amount of glue on there, just double checking it. And then we're going to do the other side. And so we'll get a little bit of glue laid down on there. This will finish up the last two. And just give them a little press. Just cleaning off any little bits of anything I see on there. And I think it turned out super cute. I think it's a very fun golden birthday card. And this is where I'm messing with that flower, trying to rearrange it. But I will afterward pick up the one on the inside and move it is what I do. So here is a picture of the card. I think it turned out great. I hope you like it. If you did, consider hitting that like. And if you haven't subscribed, I'd love to have you subscribe. Here's a couple more videos you can watch.